Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Homeschool Live. I'm your host, Christine, and today joining me is Tommy Neiman, who is a firefighter and paramedic, and he's got a wonderful homeschooling resource that we can use, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But first, Tommy, thank you for being here with us, and please tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, I am so excited to be with you, Christine, and everyone out there in the homeschool world. It is just so cool to be able to have an angle of ministry, to be able to minister to kids through what I think gets their attention, and that's lights and sirens. And I've
Yeah,
just taken what I've done and tried to really equate that to how our lives literally are, or especially as homeschool parents, our lives are around first responding to our kids.
yeah, it is. It's true. And so you talked. I think I read in your bio that you and your wife you homeschooled your kids. So this is near and dear to your heart as well. How many? Do you tell us a little bit about your family?
Yes, I have a wonderful wife. We've been married 38 years, and we did raise our three children. They're now adults, but two daughters and a son in the middle.
Oh,
And
that's
we homeschooled them pretty much all along the way. And of course, being a firefighter and paramedic, I was on duty every third day. So it was solo for Alicia, my wife.
right.
Of certainly the other 2 days off during the week, I had some bearing on the homeschool, playing kind of the principal, but just really seeing those years go by so fast. But yet, at times within those years, it seemed so slow. And I think all homeschool parents certainly can relate to that. And it was just a joy. They're grown now, and soon grandparents now will be helping with the homeschool effort. But it
Wow.
has just been a blessing. And my family is so wonderful. We all still live in the area, and I am just blessed to be looking forward to those days when grandparenting will also be assisting homeschooling.
Very nice. Very nice. So describe what you see as one of the biggest challenges you feel that homeschooling families would face today.
Well, I really think the challenges today are obviously that thing that we're doing, which is a blessing, and that's being on a screen. Um,
Mm,
it seems like younger and younger children, at the blessing of safety, are being exposed to cell phones, screens, and I think the biggest challenge is to get them into more of a real life, everyday setting,
mhm.
rather than so much on the screen. And I think that's the biggest challenge is kids are drawn to social media. They love to be able
Yep.
to talk to their friends. It is cool. I remember days when we didn't have social media, and
Yeah.
I can see how cool it would be in their eyes. But the real challenge is to let them get motivated and excited about what's around them in the physical world as well as the screen world.
Yeah. That's so cool. Um, and important because yeah, it's a struggle for me because my I have two boys and they are 12 and almost 8. And so that's they're at that age where it's exciting to want to be on the screen, and there's so many opportunities or so many things to do on a screen. But like we just took a little family vacation, and it was just me just saying, look out the window, look here, look at the world around you, you don't need your screen. And so it definitely is a challenge, but again, there are benefits to it, so it's just finding that balance between the two. So what's one piece of advice that you would give homeschooling parents
I
like
would
me?
say the biggest piece of advice is get outside. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, I live in South Florida where I can be outside all the time. Literally, I'm not at the fire station today, so less than an hour ago, I was out in a boat being on the ocean here. And so it doesn't matter where it's outside in the yard or traveling somewhere where what you're going to do involves being outside. And I know summers are hot and you got the challenges of weather all the time, but boy, a nice day, even in the homeschool setting, even during the homeschool day, if a nice day approaches, and I know that from past experience with our children, if the day was just so nice, it's not like we skipped what we had to do, but we took more of a longer break to enjoy
Yeah,
what was outside. You know, screens don't show up as outside as much as they do inside. And
it's
so
true.
the little bit of a tug to even get away from that screen when you're outside. Now you may need a map to get to where you're going on your phone or
Yeah.
your iPad, whatever. But I would say the greatest attribute is the beautiful world that God created around us, and get outside in it, even if it means doing the lesson studies, out on the back porch or front porch if people have them, or even the yard. A long time ago, picnics were popular. And wouldn't it be so cool if people, especially homeschool folks and the population at large, just went outside uh, to sit down on the grass, spread out, a blanket or apron or something, and just sit on the grass and enjoy being outside and doing like a picnic. And either way, I think the bottom line is to be able to get into God's beauty outside of our dwelling place.
Yeah, that's some great advice. And the beauty of homeschooling is that you do have that flexibility to, take those longer breaks and just enjoy the outdoors. I mean, if any of you are following the Charlotte Mason way of homeschooling, that is something that she promotes, just getting outside in nature and enjoying God's creation. And yeah, this is really, really good points to follow. So I'm excited about Rookie Rescuer. I was looking at it and it looks so great, especially for boys. But I'm sure it's really good for everyone. Please tell us a little bit about Rookie Rescuer.
Cool. Well, Rookie Rescuer really just started with a burden many years ago as I, in full-time fire rescue responder work, was exposed to calls where I clearly saw the hand of God working in powerful ways on scenes. And about, gosh, 20 years ago, I had written a book about my calls just to encourage fellow responders. And as the years went by, I thought more and more while we were homeschooling about the idea that these calls could be formatted into a way for children who love to go on fire station field trips. And I'll bet that everyone I'm talking to in the audience right now has either taken their children to the fire station, or they have a firefighter in the family, or someone in first responder work. And so
Mhm.
Rookie Rescuer took me about 3 years to go back and look at the calls that I'd been on and really dive into not only the learning aspect and going beyond the fire station as I take these children on actual calls that I've been on and really teach them what they would learn at the fire station, but in the action mode as I was on those scenes using that particular piece of equipment, using that hose line, or in the medical situations, applying oxygen or even starting an IV,
Mhm.
but teaching these kids about the information they would get at a fire station visit, but taking them to real scenes. And of course, the important thing in each of those calls is teaching them about how God works in powerful ways and teaching them spiritual truth that they can learn through the calls of how God works in their lives, even as children. And so
Yeah.
we put together 12 chapters. The book is animated. I play Firefighter Tom,
Nice.
and Blaze up here is my ride along companion, and he reads our beginning Bible verse with each call, and then our ending Bible
Aw.
verse, that same verse for memorization. And so he wasn't on me on the real calls, but the calls that I shared were very real and actual in
Yeah.
my work as a firefighter and paramedic. And so after each call, there's a question, and this is what turns the book into a workbook. There's questions about what they learned in the physical or practical happenings of that scene that I take them to, whether it's learning about a size hose or,
Mm.
on the medical call, what we had to do to take care of the person that was either hurt in a car wreck or they got bit by a shark. I have a shark bite call
Uh,
in my book. I was asked to do one of the Shark Week reenactments of a shark bite call that I was on.
wow.
And so I share a shark bite call and really interesting calls. But the important thing is at the end of each call, the children are going to get questions about the practical side. And then the next section is questions about what they learned spiritually on the call.
Nice.
And then at the end of the particular chapter or call, they relearn that memory verse. And of course,
Mhm.
learn about what they'll see through the call that are be at the beginning of each chapter. So it's ideally a workbook for them to learn word memorization, of course, the scripture verse memorization, and then they have to retain memory from what they learned and read about on the call. And the calls are interesting. I have more parents say that they were caught up in doing Rookie Rescuer as much as their kids were involved. It's a
Yeah.
second through sixth grade age level. So
Okay.
about 6 to 7 years old through about 12 to 13 years old is the ideal range for the
Okay.
kids to take this. And this can be an elective as part of their homeschool curriculum. I believe it'll be their favorite subject because, in conclusion of the book, they're going to go on field trips and they're going to be armed with what they learned to do checkoffs
Nice.
at a fire station, at an EMS facility. And I explained to parents how to set that up, as well
Nice.
as they'll go to a fire hydrant and learn about the parts of the fire hydrant as well. And so they're going to have field trips at the end. And then most importantly, concluding the 12 calls, the children will get a clear presentation of the gospel so they can understand how to realize what Jesus did and how he died on the cross and how they can receive Jesus into their hearts. So I think the book is complete. I think it keeps their attention, absolutely keeps their attention and parents' attention, and really is a neat study for them to coincide with the curriculum they have in their for their homeschool year.
Very nice. So how long do you think this would take a homeschooling family for like could
Well,
they do this over the whole year
yeah,
or is it maybe a
ide-
few months?
ideally, it's a semester study if they do
Okay.
one call a week and
Okay.
do the questions and the answers, incorporate that. And the calls don't take long to read. I would say that for a kid, he can read it in probably 15 minutes, or less. And then the questions, it's probably a good hour study for that particular week. And really, I think one call a week because the spiritual questions are very open ended for good dialogue with the parents. The questions
Mm-hmm.
give the opportunity of the parents to evoke what that question was, to evoke
Right.
feedback from their child or their children. It's also a great co-op group curriculum study. And you know how co-ops meet with other homeschool families maybe once a week. They could all be doing that. And so therefore it's about a 12-week study, and then you got your field trips at the end. So if they incorporate one chapter, one call a week, it's going to last about 12 weeks, which is, like the fall semester
Yeah.
or the spring semester
Yeah.
of their homeschool curriculum. And it works out
Yeah.
really well because the kids are going to be looking so forward to getting
Those
to the
field
fire
trips.
station and
Yeah.
really impressing the guys at the fire station and EMS station about what they've learned.
So I have to ask, the how do you coordinate with the field trips? How does that work?
Okay. What I've added is in each field trip, there's an information paragraph about how to make a non-emergency call to the fire station in their particular community, and then to set up a field trip. And the same goes with the EMS facility. Now, in a lot of areas, the fire is connected, like I am connected to the EMS.
Right.
So they'll go there one time with a focus on the fire end and the firefighting. And then they can go back to that particular station and meet with the paramedics and talk about the EMS end. And then on the fire hydrant visit, most communities have fire hydrants,
Right.
and they can, I teach them how to keep the kids on the sidewalk, making sure for safety. And then there's a diagram of a fire hydrant and the parts. And really what they learn is what parents don't even know is the parts of a fire hydrant. I explain how the water flows, how it goes to the truck, how a particular wrench that has to go on the top of the fire hydrant to open it up. And it's really neat because parents and kids see fire hydrants all the time. And,
Yeah. It's true.
Blaze, he uses a fire hydrant all the time too. But anyhow, it's really neat so that the parents really can learn something as well as the kids. So they're really actually getting an early introduction to what might be one day God's way of
Yeah.
intriguing them, that they might one day be firefighters or police officers or an
Yeah.
emergency responder, a paramedic, an EMT. And it's just really not only intriguing and interesting for boys and girls, especially girls, because girls are really likening to the fire fighting, the
Interesting.
EMS. And it is so cool because they love that stuff too. And it just is well explained for how the parents can coordinate those um, field trips at the end. But they have to learn over those calls. They'll learn a lot of stuff. And actually, on the pages that have the firefighter trip, the EMS trip, the fire hydrant, there's checkoffs for them to check off as they see these things. They're going to bring their book, their
Right.
rookie
Okay.
rescuer book, as you see in your upper right hand corner. They're going to bring that book with them to the fire station. And
Good.
it's going to be really cool for the firefighters because they probably haven't seen something quite like this coming in.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
becomes a blessing to them as well as a blessing to the kids and, of course, the parents.
And I tell you, as I have had a little bit of experience of knowing when, you know, your kids, they stand out because, we just came back from visiting quite a bit of museums up in our capital, and it it people, the workers would hear them jabbering about a certain exhibit because they've
Yeah,
learned it, and like they're not doing this just from what they read in a textbook. Like they've really learned their stuff, and so they actually would come stand next to my kids and
yeah,
listen to them, and then they get excited about their exhibit, and then they start. So there's this big whole. We had so many conversations with so many people, just because they knew their stuff, and so I can already picture all these kids going to the fire stations and just doing exactly that, and just impressing upon that they know their stuff. And it's really good. It's really good, and I'm glad that this resource is out there. So tell everyone how they can check this out, check you out for more information, or grab a copy of Rookie Rescuer.
Yeah, I think the easiest way is God has blessed us with rookierescuer.com.
Okay.
It's just as easy as it sounds. Rookie Rescuer filled out.com. Or, of course, you can feel free to type Tommy Neiman into any web search. Usually, my home page for my ministry is there with a lot of information that they can, check things out on my blessed career. And then there's a link to rookierescuer.com there, or they can just type in Rookie Rescuer, and that should come up. And the books are available through the website at a greatly discounted price. I've got a situation with a publisher that I've been able to put books in the rookierescuer.com availability at a lot less. We can do books for as little as, if they're going to buy for the class, as little as $13. The price tag that was set by our publishers was a cover price of $29.95. However, I would encourage everyone out there, especially in the homeschool world. This is being accepted into Christian schools. It's been accepted at a national level in Walmart stores, Target stores, all the book chains, and that's a blessing. But rookierescuer.com gives the parents a chance to really dig deeper into what's behind the ministry, as well as certainly get books at a lot lower price, especially if
Hmm.
the homeschool group, maybe the co-op group, wants to just go ahead and make that a project. And the neat thing about it is that this is, learning from something outside a screen that's going to take them outside in the end and really get their interest level up. And I forgot to mention at the back of the book, there's a rookie certificate page, a rookie rescue official
Oh,
certificate page that when
nice.
they have completed the book, that they will be able to have their parents put their name in, and they can take that page out. It looks like an official certificate, and they have officially succeeded and passed and are now official rookie rescuers.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. I know my kids always look forward to getting those certificates at the end. It's just a sense of accomplishment for them, so it's
Yeah,
great.
they can put that
Thank
on
you.
their wall in their bedroom, and
Yeah.
they will really, I think they'll be excited. And really, the bottom line is to minister to these kids about the Lord,
Yeah.
but to also see what God is doing in their hearts and in their lives, boys and girls, and whether or not maybe they might be interested in that work one day. And I share in the beginning of the book to the parents that they may not know it now, but maybe what they are doing with their kids in this little curriculum workbook might be God's leading to where He has them answering real rescuer calls one day.
Yeah. Yeah. And you never know, right? And we need to present them with all of these options and resources so that they can make decisions. And hopefully they do get excited about these things and ask God to direct them. And I'm just so grateful for your ministry. I pray blessings upon it. May it grow even further. And thank you so much for letting us know about it, letting us get to know you a little bit more. And was there anything else that popped into your mind that you wanted to tell our audience?
No, other than just be safe out there. realize that God has control. If there's anything that's been so real life in my career, and I've answered literally thousands of emergency calls. The worst things that you could probably think about, but then exciting things. I've delivered 6 children. I've been able to just be blessed with some honors as a firefighter of the year for the state of Florida. I've been blessed to speak in just hundreds of churches about calls that I've been on where just
Wow.
miraculous things happen. And God has just turned that into a way of sharing with people that when I get to a scene, everything seems to be out of control.
Mm.
But I'm always praying, going to scenes, and always knowing that God can use me both in a physical way, but
Yeah.
always being open to how He can use me in a spiritual way to
Yeah.
minister to people that are literally dying at my hands, or
Mm.
going into fires and trying to save a life, and just doing what God has called me. Are there scary moments for me personally?
Mm.
Absolutely. I've
Yeah.
been in fires where I didn't think I was coming out,
Oh,
and
wow.
uh, there's been situations where I ended up in the hospital
Mm.
after calls. But
Wow.
I always know that beyond all of that, God is still in control. And when we just
Yes.
trust Him day by day, especially as homeschool parents, things get tough. I've been down that road, but God is in control, and He weighs your heart over and above everything. And if your heart
Mm.
is just set on knowing that you're going to grind through, God is so pleased with that because you're exhibiting faith to
Yeah.
grind through.
Yeah.
And God is just putting those rewards that you're going to lay at Christ's feet one day by the effort that you guys are doing as homeschool parents.
Yeah. Thank you so much for those words of encouragement. And thank you for joining us today. So, we will have the links to click in the comments below. So, feel free to reach out and grab your copy of Rookie Rescuer today. And we'll see you again for another Homeschool Live.